The second man accused of killing 5-year-old Kason Guyton is arrested. PG&E officials are called into an emergency meeting today, and the current ceasefire between Turkey and Syria does not seem to be working. This is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Fisher. We begin with an arrest in the murder case of 5-year-old Kason Guyton, shot and killed 2.5 years ago. Overnight, the second man charged in his death was apprehended. Jeremy King evaded police more than a month ago and got away from officers early Wednesday morning, but police arrested him late last night. King and Jonathan Ray Knight were indicted on murder charges last month. Knight has been in custody since his arrest in August. He has previously pleaded not guilty. Knight is in court today, but his case has not been called yet. 17's Karen is in the courtroom waiting for the judge to call his case. Meantime, King is due in court on Monday. He's being held without bail. Local unemployment numbers are out and they show a substantial drop in Kern County. The unemployment rate here was 6% last month. That's down from 7.3% in August. That's also below the 6.5% from September 2018. But we're also still above the state and national rates. California's is 3.5% for last month. The country's is 3.3%. The power is back on for all but a handful of Southern California Edison customers here in Kern County. Yesterday, SoCal Edison activated another public safety shutoff due to high winds in the forecast. Last night, 65 homes and businesses in Weldon, Onyx, and Canebrake were without power. That's now down to just 4 customers in Weldon. Some 2,000 customers in unincorporated parts of the county are still under a PSPS consideration. That includes Camp Owens, Kernville, Lake Isabella, Wofford Heights, and Bodfish. We have a link to the affected customers on our website, KGET.com. Top executives at the state's largest utility company are expected at an emergency meeting today. State regulators plan to grill PG&E leaders about a massive preemptive power shutoff last week. The public safety power shutoff has been criticized as poorly executed and unacceptable. PG&E cut off power to more than 2 million people because of a high fire risk. The utility company says its systems were damaged in more than 100 places. Spots PG&E says could have been a potential source of ignition for wildfire. State regulators have ordered the utility company to audit its performance and outline corrective actions. All right, let's take a look at your forecast now with Kev.
It was a beautiful morning out there. Skies were clear, and as we take a look at the afternoon here, we are only going to be in the 70s, so get out and enjoy the day. You can see by 3 o'clock, 71 degrees. By 6, we're in the upper 60s, and by 9 o'clock, clear skies and the upper 50s. A light breeze throughout the day. I do expect the winds to pick up a little bit as we progress here throughout the afternoon. No wind advisories are expected, but there will definitely be a breeze. 62 degrees by 3 o'clock this afternoon, upper 50s at 6, and then by 9 o'clock, clear skies and northwest wind at 8, and we're back in the upper 40s. We'll talk much more about the weekend forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Bakersfield police are working to track down a person investigators suspect of breaking into a house and performing inappropriate acts next to a teenager. And we now have an idea of what he may look like. It happened at a home on Bell Terrace just off of New Stein Road around 1:30 Saturday morning. Police released this sketch of the suspect. BPD says the man broke into the house through an unlocked front door. A teenage girl inside the house woke up and found the man standing next to her bed performing lewd acts. He then took off on foot. He was last seen wearing an orange long-sleeve shirt and black shorts. Now to the impeachment inquiry. Democrats today say Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney openly acknowledged a quid pro quo existed in order that Ukraine received its allotted military aid, even though he later walked back those comments.
Well, the walk back is not to be believed. Mulvaney confirmed what we all know to be the case, that the White House, through Donald Trump, pressured a foreign government to target an American citizen, Joe Biden, for political gain. That is textbook abuse of power. The evidence of wrongdoing continues to hide in plain sight.
I think Mick Mulvaney clarified his statement to be very clear. I checked Mick Mulvaney at his word for clarification. But more importantly, Those individuals that have come before the committees that have been investigated from Volcker and others that were in the place of knowledge has said there was no quid pro quo.
Closed-door depositions in the House impeachment inquiry will resume next week. Meantime, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy held a news conference this morning criticizing Democrats for their impeachment inquiry on President Trump. Fighting continues in a northeast Syrian border town at the center of the fight between Turkey and Kurdish forces, despite a U.S. brokered ceasefire that went into effect overnight. NBC's Keir Simmons reports from Ankara.
Smoke rising over the Syrian town of Ras Al-Ain this morning. A day of diplomacy so far failing to silence the guns.
Mr. President.
Vice President Pence arrived in Ankara needing a peace deal. And after a handshake with President Erdogan, he handed Turkey almost everything it had been fighting for.
Today, the United States and Turkey have agreed to a ceasefire in Syria.
During 5 hours of talks, they agreed a 5-day pause in the conflict. But America says Turkish forces will get to stay in Syria. And if the agreement holds, U.S. sanctions will be lifted. Many calling it a victory for Turkey. The president claiming everyone wins.
It's a great day for the United States. It's a great day for Turkey. The Kurds were great. Great day for the Kurds. It's really a great day for civilization. It's a great day for civilization.
The agreement claims Kurdish forces, America's ally against ISIS, will be disarmed of heavy weapons. Even some Republicans branding it deeply dishonorable.
The decision to abandon the Kurds violates one of our most sacred duties. It strikes at American honor. What we have done to the Kurds will stand as a blood stain in the annals of American history.
And already there are doubts. The U.S. has little leverage left with the Kurds, who have turned to Russian and Syrian government forces.
And ominously this morning, President Assad of Syria saying that it will respond to any aggression by Turkey by all appropriate means. Meanwhile, America now firmly on Turkey's side. President Erdogan tweeting to President Trump, many more lives will be saved when we defeat terrorism. Keir Simmons, NBC News, Ankara, Turkey.
Well, she's often called TV's toughest trainer, and she's coming to fire up local women. This morning, the keynote speaker for the 2020 Bakersfield Women's Business Conference was announced. Jillian Michaels, personal trainer, businesswoman, author, and television personality, will head the annual event next spring.
Our theme this year is Building the Best You, and so my theme for this year has to do with my health and with school, so I thought she was a great fit. She is trying to have everyone be the healthiest version of themselves and the happiest version, so that's my theme too.
The day will include breakout sessions for women from all walks of life on topics ranging from health and wellness to business and balance. The conference is April 23rd, 2020 in downtown Bakersfield at the Mechanics Bank Convention Center. Well, do you know anyone seemingly addicted to video games? It's now being called a diagnosable mental health condition. So, how much is too much? We'll hear from experts coming up. Plus, want to double the impact of your workout without doing any extra work? We'll tell you how. It's all coming your way in your 17 Health Watch after the break. Welcome back and taking a look at your forecast now with Kev.
We were at 50 degrees overnight. That was pretty close here on the almanac. We should be right around 54 this time of year. Normal high today is 79, and we are going to be shy of that for sure with the lower 70s. Our record on this date, 96, and that was set back in 1913. Skies will remain clear. We still have the surf advisory along the coastal areas if you're headed that way. Temperatures this afternoon, 74 in Sacramento and Fresno, 60s out in Morro Bay, and then down to the south in LA and San Diego, we're looking at 70s, 79 out of Los Angeles. In fact, Vegas will be cooler than LA today. They're going to be right near 76 degrees. Here's a look at the overall pattern. So the winds we saw yesterday, that system has moved off to the east. We have another trough developing out of the Pacific Northwest. That will keep our temperatures in the 70s for the weekend. But then we have a very large ridge of high pressure here in the East Pacific, and that is going to build on in by the end of the week and more so into next week. And that means a warm-up will be on the way. We'll see more of an offshore wind, and we'll have to watch our fire danger carefully. As we take a look at the national national weather for today and temperatures. We've got 50s out of Seattle, Denver at 64 today. Up in the Northeast, 50s and 60s. Boston 59 with Washington, D.C. right at 63. Here's a look at your air quality for today. Moderate with an AQI at 96. And today we'll call for sunny skies and 71 in Bakersfield, 72 in Delano, 70 out in Taft, and then for the mountains in the Kern Valley, 63. Fraser Park, 61 in Datchby with upper 50s in Bear Valley, lower 70s for Lake Isabel and Kernville. And then for the desert, today sunny, a little bit breezy, winds gusting around 45, 72 in Mojave, 77 in Ridgecrest. Your extended forecast shows the 70s throughout the entire weekend, and then back into the 80s next week. Mid-80s on the board Tuesday and Wednesday for the mountains. Lower 60s through Sunday, 70s into play next week with mid-70s Tuesday and Wednesday. And then for the Kern Valley, plenty of sunshine for you. Lower 70s through Sunday, and then we'll be back into the 80s as we head into about Tuesday and Wednesday. But overall, a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Get out and enjoy it.
All right, thanks so much, Kev. In your 17 Health Watch, if you want to improve your health, you may want to break a sweat before breakfast. British researchers followed 30 obese or overweight men for 6 weeks. Those who exercised before eating breakfast burned double the amount of fat, and their bodies had a better response to insulin than those who ate first. Experts say keeping blood sugar levels under control could possibly lower the risk of diabetes and heart disease. However, exercising before breakfast did not impact weight loss. Recently, the World Health Organization identified gaming disorders as a diagnosable mental health condition. Myra Ansari explains how much is too much.
Controller in hand, eyes glued to the screen, a mission to accomplish. Kids can get in a zone when playing with video games, and if you ask most of them, they have their favorites.
So what video games do you like to play?
Mario Odyssey, Super Smash Bros., and Mario Kart.
Like when I was a kid, you would see kids outside playing, running, playing football, basketball, whatever the case may be. That's not a thing anymore.
Video games are, so much so that some can't function without it. Gaming has been around for almost 50 years. Studies about its effects are still in the early stages, but for many, it's causing enough issues that the World Health Organization identified gaming disorder as a diagnosable mental health condition.
We're having a lot of parents come in, especially at our well child checks, and want to discuss how much time is enough time and what's too much time in front of the screen, be it video games, cell phones, tablets, all those kind of things.
The concern it can lead to kids and teens feeling isolated, anxiety, depression.
I know a lot of people where it is an issue. Their kids rush home just to play Fortnite all day long and don't do anything else with their whole day, their whole life. They don't want to go outside and play and be active. I think that's a real big problem with the kids nowadays.
So how much is too much?
Anything over 2 hours is way too much. And parents ask all the time, what can we do? We definitely need to be on a schedule. Here's the amount of time that you can play, and here's the rest of the time that we're going to spend outdoors or with family.
Myra Ansari reporting. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends under 30 to 60 minutes of gaming on a school night and under 2 hours on a non-school night. And if you notice that gaming is getting in the way of your child's daily function, you should talk to your child's doctor. Well, business struggling to find workers. We'll tell you why and what experts say could be the fix. That's coming up in your 17 Business Watch.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back to your 17 Business Watch and checking on stocks on this finally Friday. The Dow down 175 points. The NASDAQ is down 46 and the S&P 500 is down 5. Meantime, checking oil prices, West Texas Intermediate is at $53.68 a barrel and Midway Sunset is at $57.68 a barrel. Johnson & Johnson is recalling some of its baby powder after trace amounts of asbestos was discovered. The voluntary recall is limited to one lot of Johnson's baby powder produced and shipped in the United States in 2018. It's about 33,000 bottles. The asbestos was found in samples from a single bottle purchased from an online retailer. Reuters published a report last December alleging the company knew for decades that cancer-causing asbestos could be found in its talc. J&J has repeatedly said its talc products are safe and that decades of studies have shown them to be asbestos-free and they do not cause cancer. Southwest Airlines has pulled its Boeing 737 MAX jets from its schedule even longer. The airline now plans to keep those planes out of commission through February 8th. That's about a month longer than what other airlines have previously announced. The lack of clarity on when regulators will allow airlines to operate the planes has forced airlines to repeatedly change their schedules. The 737 MAX has been grounded since mid-March after 2 deadly crashes. Airline executives say it is easier to cancel 737 MAX flights ahead of time rather than scramble to rebook passengers and crews at the last minute. Venmo is making the leap from your phone to your wallet. The app, which is owned by PayPal, will offer a Venmo-branded credit card starting next year. Venmo started with peer-to-peer payments and became popular for incorporating a social network with the ability to like and comment on friends' transactions. PayPal said some of the details, like rewards and cash back, are still being worked out. Across the nation, businesses are struggling to find workers, and a new report shows a growing labor shortage due to baby boomers retiring and not enough young workers to replace them. In today's Consumer Watch, one market expert says increasing legal immigration could be the best fix.
Now hiring. According to June data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 39 states there are more jobs than there are people looking for work. And economists say the shortage is due in large part to the baby boomer generation retiring by the millions.
And because of that, the working age population in America is growing much more slowly, only about 0.2% per year this decade.
The labor shortage is being felt in all sectors, but especially in education. According to September federal labor statistics, there's currently a 307,000 job shortfall in public education that can't keep up with growing student enrollment. And recent teacher strikes in several states reveal the reason many applicants are staying away: low pay and lack of resources. Meanwhile, David Kelly, chief global strategist with J.P. Morgan Chase, argues that increasing legal immigration could help replace America's aging workforce.
So what you need to do, in fact, over the next decade is increase immigration, maybe from 1 million a year to 2 million a year. If you did that, you could actually grow the working age population.
He also suggests making 3-year college degrees more available and even delaying eligibility for Medicare benefits to retirees by 1 year until the age of 66. For Consumer Watch, I'm Reed Binion.
Entertainment news coming up after the break. Welcome back. History is made in space today. The first all-female spacewalk team is outside the orbiting space station for a repair job. You may recall the first all-female spacewalk was canceled earlier this year because NASA didn't have the right size spacesuit. Well, NASA did manage to get a properly fitted suit to space. NBC's Tom Costello reports on the women and the lifelong pursuit of space.
Orbiting 248 miles above the Earth, Jessica Meir and Christina Cook say today is almost like any other day. The space station needs a repair, and they're the ones to do it, period.
Jessica and I are held to the exact same training standards. We're treated the same in terms of assignments for various missions on board.
But they also admit this mission is special.
We called ourselves Space Sisters because we were together, really joined at the hip, going through all the classes together.
Jessica Meir first told us about her childhood dream 3 years ago at the NASA training pool in Houston.
Since I was 5 years old, yeah.
You've dreamed of being an astronaut since you were 5?
Yep, that's when I started saying it. So it literally is a dream come true. That's what makes it so difficult to believe sometimes.
Both women personify today's NASA. Meir has a PhD in marine biology. Cook has a master's degree in electrical engineering.
I have the battery.
Today's 6-hour mission: replace a power controller on the outside of the space station that failed over the weekend. The first all-female spacewalk, set for last March, was canceled when NASA didn't have enough medium spacesuits on the station. It does now, and it's just unveiled its next generation of spacesuit.
We need a spacesuit that can go from the 1% to the 99% in size.
Important since NASA wants a woman to be among the astronauts who return to the moon by 2024. In your dream world, do you think about what kind of a mission you would love?
Yeah, in the dream world, I think I'd like to go back to the moon. I think that would be, a great first step to getting to Mars eventually as well.
Today, a first step.
We could have never imagined that our childhood dream would come true and the two of us would be here together.
Tom Costello reporting. This is Christina Cox 4th spacewalk this year. And by the way, she's on track to set a record for the longest amount of time in space for a woman at 328 days. The longest single spaceflight by an astronaut was 340 days, set by Scott Kelly. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to our Pet of the Week. All right, welcome back. Finally here at noon. It is Friday, and you know what that means. It is time for our Pet of the Week, and Julie Johnson is here from the Bakersfield Animal Care Center to introduce us to Magic.
Yeah, Magic is so sweet. This little girl, she's about 10 years old.
She's got a personality.
She does have a personality. She didn't like that. She is declawed in the front, so she cannot be an outdoor cat under any circumstances.
Okay.
She has just a beautiful motor when she starts purring, and she's relaxed and and calm. And she really needs a lap to just hang out on, type thing.
Yeah, you said she's an older cat.
She is.
Yeah, so she's not going to be all over the place. She just needs a place to just kind of hang out.
Absolutely. Just to kind of enjoy life and be able to purr and, lay around with you and just get a lot of good attention.
She is a beautiful cat, too.
Yeah, so we think she's like a lilac Siamese. So she is just absolutely stunning. Her coat and colors and everything else.
Just realized you guys kind of matched today.
I know, huh? I didn't even notice that. But, she just, like I said, she's ready to go. She'd love to go to a good home today if somebody can give it to her.
So she's ready for adoption today?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you would like to adopt Magic or one of her friends, you can, of course, call the Bakersfield Animal Care Center at 832-PETS. And there's so many dogs
There's so
and cats.
many. And cats, we have a ton of kittens. Like I said, come on down to 201 South Mount Vernon.
Sometimes I feel like some people forget that there are cats at the Animal Care Center.
They do.
It's not just dogs.
Right. And they get overlooked.
Yeah.
And especially people people think that, oh, well, she's older. She's still got a lot of life there. She's got a lot of years behind.
Several years. So, all right. Well, thanks so much for bringing her in.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Alex.
All right. Well, enjoy your weekend, everyone. We'll see you back here tonight for the 17 News at 5. Have a great weekend.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.
She's got a personality.
She does have a personality. She didn't like that. She is declawed in the front, so she cannot be an outdoor cat under any circumstances.
Okay.
She has just a beautiful motor when she starts purring, and she's relaxed and and calm. And she really needs a lap to just hang out on, type thing.
Yeah, you said she's an older cat.
She is.
Yeah, so she's not going to be all over the place. She just needs a place to just kind of hang out.
Absolutely. Just to kind of enjoy life and be able to purr and, lay around with you and just get a lot of good attention.
She is a beautiful cat, too.
Yeah, so we think she's like a lilac Siamese. So she is just absolutely stunning. Her coat and colors and everything else.
Just realized you guys kind of matched today.
I know, huh? I didn't even notice that. But, she just, like I said, she's ready to go. She'd love to go to a good home today if somebody can give it to her.
So she's ready for adoption today?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you would like to adopt Magic or one of her friends, you can, of course, call the Bakersfield Animal Care Center at 832-PETS. And there's so many dogs and cats.
There's so many. And cats, we have a ton of kittens, Like I said, come on down to 201 South Mount Vernon.
Sometimes I feel like some people forget that there are cats at the animal care center.
They do.
It's not just dogs.
Right, and they get overlooked.
Yeah.
And especially people people think that, oh, well, she's older. She's still got a lot of life in her. She's got a lot of years behind.
Several years. So, all right, well, thanks so much for bringing her in.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Alex.
All right, well, enjoy your weekend, everyone. We'll see you back here tonight for the 17 News at 5. Have a great weekend.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.
We are doing a topical today.
Oh boy, they're going to have to do it.
Huh?
They're going to need a lid holder.
She is. She did. She's like.
Yes.
All right. All right. You ready, Sandy? Okay. 3, 2, 1. She was a fighter, but something helped her get through the battle. Monday morning on 17 News at Sunrise, how a local woman says her sparkle helped her get through treatment. Her story, Monday morning on Sunrise.